Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Speak Easy English. This is where we make learning English simple, fun, and helpful. I'm Emily, your host. Today, we're talking about something many of you might find hard: how to practice English when you don't have a partner. It doesn't matter if you are just starting or trying to speak better. This episode is for you.
That's right, Emily. Hi, everyone. I'm Tommy, helping Emily host today. You know, one of the biggest problems English learners talk about is finding someone to practice with. It can make you feel lonely or sometimes sad. But don't worry. We are here to show you that you don't really need a partner to get better at English.
Exactly. Practicing alone has its own good points. We're going to share useful tips, tools, and ways to help you feel more sure of yourself, get better skills, and have fun while learning.
So stay with us until the end. You don't want to miss this.
Before we start, please click the subscribe button if this is your first time here. And check out our other videos too.
All right, Emily. Are you ready to begin?
Yes, Tommy. Let's talk about why practicing English alone is not just possible, but also works really well.
Let's start.
Okay, let's talk about why practicing English by yourself is so important. Many people think you can't get better without a partner, but that's just not true. Actually, practicing alone can give you more choice in how you learn. For example, you can focus on the things you find most difficult, like pronunciation, how you say words, vocabulary, learning new words, or grammar, the rules of English.
Exactly, Emily. And you know, practicing alone also means you don't need to worry about making mistakes in front of other people. You can take your time, say things again and again if you need to, and learn as fast or as slow as you want. That's a big help, especially for beginners who might feel shy or nervous when speaking English.
Absolutely. Plus, when you practice alone, you learn to be disciplined, meaning you practice regularly, and consistent, meaning you keep doing it. Think about it. If you can keep yourself going and get better on your own, you're learning a skill that will help you not just with English, but in other parts of your life too.
That's a great point. And let's not forget that practicing English alone doesn't mean you're completely alone. There are so many helpful things available today, like apps, online videos, and podcasts like this one. These tools can be like practice partners online, so you're never really alone when you're learning.
Exactly, Tommy. And here's another thing. When you practice alone, you can make a plan that fits your life. Maybe you practice for 10 minutes in the morning or an hour in the evening. You decide when to practice. It's all about making English a normal part of your everyday life.
Right? And remember, learning a language is like training a muscle. Even practicing a little bit every day helps a lot over time. So, practicing alone isn't just important, it's really a key part of learning to speak well.
Well said, Tommy. So for everyone listening, don't feel sad or like giving up if you don't have a partner to practice with. You have the tools you need to do well right there with you.
In the next part, we're going to talk about some common wrong ideas about practicing English alone. So stay with us. Now, let's talk about some of the common wrong ideas about practicing English alone. There are many ideas out there that stop people from getting better. One of the biggest wrong ideas is, you can't get better at speaking without a partner.
Tommy, have you heard people say this before?
All the time, Emily. But here's the truth. Speaking with a partner can help, but it's not the only way to improve your speaking. There are many ways, like shadowing. That's when you listen to a native speaker and say what they say right after them. It's almost like having a conversation, but you're practicing by yourself.
That's such a good point, Tommy. Another wrong idea I hear a lot is practicing alone doesn't work well because there's no one to tell you when you make mistakes.
What do you think about that one?
I understand why people might feel that way, but it's not completely true. While it's nice to have someone help you, there are tools that can help find mistakes. For example, apps like Grammarly or even tools on your phone that understand your voice can help you find errors. And don't forget, you can learn to find your own mistakes. The more you listen to yourself and compare how you sound to native speakers, the better you'll get at it.
Exactly, Emily. And here's another wrong idea that stops people. Learning alone is boring or lonely. Now, I agree. Practicing by yourself can sometimes feel a little boring, but there are ways to make it fun.
What do you think, Tommy?
Oh, definitely. You can make your learning feel like a game. Use apps that have game-like parts, watch movies or TV shows in English, or even sing along to your favorite English songs. The important thing is to try different things and find what you enjoy. Learning doesn't have to be boring at all.
Absolutely. And here's one last wrong idea. You need to spend hours every day to get better. This idea really makes people want to stop, but it's not true at all. Even short practice times, like 10 to 15 minutes a day where you really focus, can make a big difference.
That's such an important point, Emily. Doing it regularly is more important than doing it for a long time each session.
It's better to practice a little every day than to try to do too much in one long session once a week. Remember, listeners, don't let these wrong ideas stop you. Practicing alone is possible and works very well when you do it the right way.
Exactly. And now that we've talked about these wrong ideas, it's time to talk about the useful tips for practicing English alone. Let's get into that next.
All right, now it's time for the useful part of today's podcast. Let's talk about some good tips that you can start using today to practice English by yourself.
Emily, what's the first tip you would suggest?
My first tip is to talk to yourself in English. This might sound a little funny, but it's very helpful. You can say what you're doing during the day, describe things around you, or even have pretend conversations in your head or out loud. It's a great way to practice making sentences and thinking in English.
That's a great tip, Emily. Talking to yourself helps you feel more comfortable using the language, even if no one else is listening. Another great tip is shadowing. Remember that? This means listening to a native speaker, maybe in a podcast or a movie, and saying exactly what they say, trying to copy how they sound, their pronunciation, speed, and the music of their voice.
Yes, shadowing is such a strong method, and it's not just for pronunciation. It helps you get used to the normal way people put sentences together and the phrases they use. My next tip is to record yourself. Use your phone to record yourself speaking English, maybe reading something or talking about your day. Then listen to the recording and try to find things you can do better.
It's like being your own teacher.
I love that one. And here's another tip. Read out loud. Take an article, a book, or even a recipe and read it out loud. This helps you practice how you say words, how fast you speak, and the music of your voice. Plus, it makes you feel more confident speaking English.
Absolutely. And don't forget about using technology. There are so many apps and tools out there. For example, you can use language learning apps like Duolingo or Babbel, or use tools like Google Translate that understand your voice to check your pronunciation.
That's a great suggestion. And talking about technology, another tip is to surround yourself with English. Watch English movies, listen to podcasts, or read blogs and articles in English. The important thing is to have English around you often, so it becomes a normal part of your day.
Yes, having English around you is so important. And here's a fun one. Use music. Sing along to your favorite English songs. It's a great way to practice pronunciation and rhythm, and it doesn't even feel like studying.
Great point, Tommy. And for people who like a plan, making a practice schedule can help. Choose special times each day to focus on different skills: speaking, listening, reading, or writing.
Doing it regularly is key.
Exactly. And don't forget to set goals. For example, try to learn 5 new words a day or record yourself speaking for 3 minutes every morning. Having clear goals that you can reach helps you stay motivated and focused.
Those are all great tips, Emily. So for our listeners, remember that practicing English alone doesn't have to be hard or boring. With these tips, you can get better slowly but surely and enjoy learning.
In our next part, we'll finish up with some last thoughts and words to keep you going. Stay with us. Now let's talk about how you can add listening and speaking practice into your daily plan. These 2 skills are the most important parts of talking to people. And the best part is, you don't need a partner to work on them.
Emily, why don't you start with a listening exercise?
Sure, Tommy. One of my favorite exercises is active listening. This means listening to something in English, like a podcast, an audiobook, or a YouTube video, and really focusing on understanding it. For example, try to notice important words, phrases, or even how the speaker sounds: happy, serious, etc. After listening, try to summarize or tell the main points of what you heard in your own words.
It's a great way to check how much you understood.
That's such a good exercise. And another idea is to do dictation practice. Listen to a short audio clip and try writing down what you hear. Then, check what you wrote with the real text or subtitles to see how much you got right. This helps with both listening and spelling.
Exactly. And for speaking, a great exercise is role-playing. This means pretending you are in a certain situation. Pick a situation, like ordering food in a restaurant or introducing yourself at a meeting. Then practice speaking like you are really there. You can even write down what you want to say first and use it as a guide.
That's such useful practice. And here's another one. Use voice assistants. Helpers on your phone like Siri, Alexa, or Google Assistant are perfect for practicing speaking English. Ask them questions, tell them to do things, or have short conversations. They understand different ways of speaking quite well.
Great tip. And don't forget to practice listening to different accents. Try listening to English speakers from different places, like Britain, America, or Australia. This will help your ear get used to different accents, which is very helpful when you talk to real people.
Absolutely. And for those who like a challenge, try doing listening and speaking practice together. For example, after listening to a podcast, pause it and try explaining the main points out loud, like you're teaching someone else. It's a great way to practice both skills at the same time.
That's a great idea. Listeners, remember that these exercises don't need a lot of time, but you do need to do them regularly. Even 15 minutes a day can make a huge difference in how much better you get.
Right. Plus, having a plan or routine makes learning feel easier because you know exactly what to do each day.
Exactly. So let's explain that simply for our listeners. A daily plan doesn't have to be difficult or take a lot of time. Let's start with how they can plan their day.
Tommy, what would a simple plan look like for someone who only has 30 minutes a day?
Good point, Emily. If you have 30 minutes, you can split it into 3 parts. Spend 10 minutes on listening, like watching a short video, or listening to a podcast. Then, take 10 minutes to practice speaking, maybe by repeating what you heard or talking about your day. Last, use 10 minutes to focus on vocabulary or grammar.
That's a great plan. And for those with more time, they can add other activities, like reading a short article or doing a writing exercise. For example, they could write a short text about their day or describe something they learned recently.
Exactly. Another tip is to use theme-based practice. Choose a topic for the day, like food, travel, or hobbies, and do all your practice activities about that topic. For example, listen to a podcast about travel, learn words about travel, and then practice speaking by pretending you're at an airport.
I love the idea of themes. And here's another important point. Set clear goals for each day. Instead of just saying, "I'll practice English," say, I'll learn 5 new words and use them in sentences. Or I'll record myself speaking for 2 minutes. Clear goals help you stay focused and keep going.
Yes, goals are so important. And don't forget to review what you've learned at the end of each week. Take 10 to 15 minutes to look again at the words, phrases, or grammar points you practiced. This helps you remember better.
Absolutely. And here's an extra tip. Make it fun. Add activities you enjoy, like watching your favorite TV shows in English or playing language learning games. If you enjoy your plan, you will probably keep doing it.
That's so true, Emily. And one last thing. Be realistic. Start with small steps, especially if you are new to making a plan. Even 10 minutes a day can make a big difference. The important thing is to make it a habit and slowly practice for longer over time.
Great advice, Tommy. Listeners, remember that your plan doesn't have to be perfect. The most important thing is to try every day and keep practicing.
The next section will share some final thoughts and encouragement to keep you going strong. Stay tuned.
All right, as we finish up, let's talk about something every language learner finds difficult sometimes: staying interested and practicing regularly.
Emily, why do you think keeping motivated is so hard for many people?
That's a great question, Tommy. I think it's because learning a language takes a long time and you don't always see improvement right away. It's easy to feel like giving up when you don't see results quickly. But the important thing is to remember that doing a little every day leads to big changes later on.
Absolutely. And practicing regularly doesn't mean you have to practice every single day without fail. It's about making it a habit and not giving up, even if you have a difficult time for a while.
Exactly. Find ways to make it enjoyable. Celebrate the small steps you take and remember why you started learning English in the first place. Your hard work will pay off.
Thanks for listening, everyone, and we hope you found today's tips helpful. See you in the next episode.
Until then, happy learning and keep practicing regularly. Bye for now.